contained in the President's address. This motion was moved by Chisamba Member of Parliament, Ms. Chushi Kasanda, and so we will see resumption of debate on the motion of thanks.
In a few seconds from now, we'll be seeing the Speaker take his or her chair, and that will signify the resumption of business for the rest of the afternoon and parts of the evening. So do stand by as we continue to bring Parliament closer to you.
Speaker.
We expect him to ask his question to the Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts, and this is a question for oral answer, Understanding Order 80.
And so the House has considered two questions so far, Understanding Order number 80, that's question number 17, which came from Mr. Daka of Chadiza. He did ask a question to the Minister of Community Development and Social Services. We also had question 18 coming from Ms. Nakaponda of Isoka, directing a question to the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security. So in total, the House is expected to consider three questions for answer Understanding Order number 80. In case you've just tuned in, these are live pictures coming your way here on Parliament Television. As soon as a quorum is constituted, business will resume. We also had a ministerial statement by the Minister of Energy on the update on electricity supply and load management.
Order. When business was suspended, the House was considering question number 19 on the order paper asked by the Honorable Member for Muchinga, and the Honorable Member for Muchinga was asking a supplementary question. May the Honorable Member continue?
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I was asking the supplementary question to the Honorable Minister of Sports. I was saying, Honorable Minister, we know that you have been very instrumental with your ministry in supporting sports in our different constituencies and districts. Can you tell the people of Muchinga if you have sponsored any amount of money through the council for this 2025, as we are drawing closer to 24th October, when our youths will be playing soccer? They are asking. Madam Speaker, I thank you. And how much, if you have? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
The Honorable Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Though I know we have deviated to, I think, to another question, but it's something that we can talk about, Madam Speaker, if I'm allowed. Honorable Member, thank you very much for that follow-up question. Your government has a lot of interventions when it comes to sport. Maybe one important aspect we need also to look at is we are very much aware that it is difficult for young people in the rural parts of the country to access sports equipment. So we have come up with what we are calling the Rural Sports Youth Development Program, where we are giving equipment to the young people in a different disciplines. I'm sure something that as we come to Muchinga constituency or Serenge district to be able to launch, because now we are doing side by side as we are giving these empowerment programs. The National Sports Council of Zambia will also come in to launch that particular program. So you will really be able to receive a lot of things. But I want also to appeal to members of parliament, those who are always want to bring politics into everything. Ecclesiastes 3 verse 1.
Honorable Minister, order.
There is time for everything.
You are not allowed to quote. We leave it at that. The last member was the honorable member for Muchinga. You are still continuing to answer the question?
Yes, I haven't.
You may continue without quoting.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. You know, Zambia being a Christian nation, sometimes you feel like you are go guided, Madam Speaker. 3 verse 1. I was trying to say that, Madam Speaker, there are a lot of these programs that we have put in place, but we have not gone to every part of the country because of some other programs. So it means that as I was talking about Muchinga province, I was talking about Central province, definitely there is also a portion of Northwestern province. I need to go to Luapula province. But my emphasis on this issue is that we should separate politics with development. Development will never be stored because you are getting to an election. I should emphasize that. So as we get into these constituencies, these districts, people should not view our empowerment program as a campaign tool, because this is an ongoing program that we are undertaking. And then again, honorable member, coming now to your question. Indeed, we have another program which we are calling community, I think under community sports program, where we have given 30 million kwacha to all the local authorities, not per authority, 30 million kwacha, which is shared between under 16 districts. I think some of the members of parliament have followed it through, and some local authorities have put up tournaments using that same resource. So I just want to implore members of parliament, since they are also community leaders, to be part of this community program, because it's a community program to empower young people in sports. So obviously, I am aware that as we get to the 24th of October, obviously the ministry would want to see activities in every constituency using that same funds. But I know that that is not a lot of resources. So we are also looking at ways and means to support the 24th of October. This is something that I may come up, I can come to the house later and see how we can support constituencies on sports equipment. But otherwise, you still have something to smile about. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. There's an indication for a point of order. The honorable member for Shiwangandu.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for allowing me to raise this point of order on the honorable minister, who seems to be very politically charged today, because he started by congratulating himself in self-denial without no, you didn't congratulate NCP and the CF, so you won 1 out of 3. Madam Speaker, the honorable minister, in fact, we never used to have ministers campaigning at wards. It's now we are seeing ministers as campaign managers in a ward. Ward.
Is that the point of order?
The point of order, Madam Speaker, is...
That's where football rules.
That's why border to
Now I can understand why you are losing football, because the minister goes to sit in a what?
Order, honorable member for Shiwangandu.
Madam
I'm
Speaker,
not
is the
hearing
minister-
the point of order.
The point of order, Madam Speaker, is that the minister is pronouncing a very important program of sharing sports equipment into all the constituencies. But is in order, Madam Speaker, to already politicize that program himself, because no one asked him here. All he should have told us is that he's going to have this program rolled out to the constituencies. But is in order, Madam Speaker, to politicize the program before even he rolls it out to the constituencies. Because we haven't seen that equipment. And may he be kind enough to point out where he's sending that equipment. Is in order to just give a blank statement like that. I wish you seriously, Luri, Madam Speaker.
That point of order is not admissible, honorable member for Shiwangandu. It's more like a question, so it's not admissible. We make progress. I think the last member to ask a question was the honorable member for Muchinga. So we make progress. Before we go to the next item, I have an announcement to make. Honorable members, I wish to inform the House that the President of the Republic of Zambia, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, will hold a meeting with chiefs at the Mulungushi International Conference Center tomorrow, Wednesday, 24th September 2025, in the morning. Honorable members are invited to attend the meeting and should be seated by 09 hours. I thank you. That was the announcement. We make progress. The clerk will now read the order of the day. Pardon?
Thanks the President's address. Motion 16th September. Resumption of debate.
Okay. In the House, the 19th September 2025, the House was considering the motion moved by the Honorable Member for Chisamba that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address. Any further debate? The Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me just add a few words on this very, very important address by the President. Madam Speaker, I've got things which concerns my constituency, especially in terms of agriculture. If you look at the harvest this year, I think we have got enough harvest, I think, just comparing to the one which was in 2011, maybe or more. But if you look at the investment in terms of storage, the investment has been very poor as a country. Today, Madam Speaker, you may be surprised that in a constituency like Nyimba, we don't have where to store the maize we have cultivated. I mean, we're harvesting now. In a sense that we didn't put much investment into storage. So meaning the possibilities of having wastage at the end of the day is very possible. So my appeal to government is that can we look at this, because whatever money you are spending into purchasing of this, even the money you are spending into FISIP, if we do not store well our produce, then our answer is equals to zero. Madam Speaker, the commitment by the defense forces of our country in farming, it has been great. If you look what is coming from our defense forces, it's very encouraging. But the problem we have with the government is that the Ministry of Defense is not putting much investment or budget allocation to this sector. Madam Speaker, if you look at our many in uniform camp in Nyimba, for example, if I had to put up a dam closer to ZNS Chilizi, we are going to have production throughout the year. What we're having now is a land-fed production, and it's not helping the country. We need to invest more into equipment. And coming to the farm mechanization centers, I can't remember seeing any in our province. Our province, like Eastern Province, it's an farming, the only industry, it's farming. I think that's 88%, or should I say 90% of our people, they are in farming. But we haven't seen these centers mentioned in the speech about the mechanization center. So what we are asking is, we need these mechanization centers to be dotted across our province. That is going to be very, very, very important. Madam Speaker.
Order, honorable members, the consultations are too high. Just lower a bit. Honorable member for Nyimba, you can continue.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, if you look at the investment again, this country in fertilizer, if you look at a private company called the Capital Fertilizer, it's doing fine. The export from Capital Fertilizer, it's all over DRC, Botswana, Tanzania, Malawi. But my question is to the Minister of, to the Executive, Madam Speaker, is that why are we not putting up enough investment in nitrogen chemicals? And we all know that every farmer here, the good number of us here, have got small fields or larger fields. We know that the product which comes from NCZ, it's high quality, it's a top class product. We are told that the investment of 7 million, close to 7 million, would give us about 432,000 metric tons per year. This is not enough for a country like Zambia. We need to start investing in companies which are going to give us profit and companies which are going to bring foreign exchange to our country. In terms of NCZ, Madam Speaker, we are not doing fine. We need a proper investment. Let's not look out there. The money we need is in this country. The pensions money we borrow from Europe, we have the pensions money in this country. We can use the same pensions money which is here. Our pension authorities, they invest in Europe, and the same money we invest there, it comes here as a debt. Why don't we get in this very productive sort of investment by our workmen's compensation, the minister is here, NAPSA, those monies, it's our money, it's pensions money. We need to invest this money into this sector so that we can have enough liquidity in our country, so that when I go to the bank, I need a loan, it will be easy because the banks will be liquid. So for that, it's going to help us. Madam Speaker, the UPND government, in terms of the item number, this is in fact the preamble, Madam Speaker. Let me quote the last words. Equitable Zambia, where business job opportunities for all Zambians should be available. Madam Speaker, on the education part of our country, we are not distributing the opportunities equally. The only people who get loans, 80% of people benefit from the loans are those coming from cities. And these are with families who are able to pay for their education at tertiary schools. And people in the villages, we are not having that share. My proposal on this one is we need to go the CDF way, where we allocate a certain amount of money to each constituency or to each district so that we can have a same number of students being admitted to tertiary schools. Otherwise, we are going to have certain areas, the urban areas, having more educated, not that they are so intelligent than us, that are our kids who are in the villages, no, because they've got easy access to go and get the loans at the loans board. So we need to start distributing this money equally to all the districts. Madam Speaker, when we go to the primary school, no one should even discourage the government. They used to do with CDF. I look at the classes. I used to walk 8 kilometers, 9 kilometers to go to school learning. But today we've reduced that to somewhere 5 kilometers. This is a plus to everyone. Unless you want to pretend, unless you are born in a privileged family, then for you, that is going to be, it's nonsense to you, or sorry to use that word, maybe something which you are not going to appreciate. But for us who are born in the villages, walking long distances, we appreciate, and we believe that this CDF thing should be encouraged. And now, my worry, Madam Speaker, is this one. All these things we are doing, if you look at the cabinet seated there, Madam Speaker, the President has balanced that cabinet to perfection. But when you look at the people who are there, we've employed in some companies, these are the people who are killing all the better things, the good thing the President is doing. Madam Speaker, it's an head-off today that somebody can be seated in the office, given a list of people who have been interviewed, and he says, this, I cannot employ them because they come from a certain region, and we are keeping that person in the office. That should come to an end, Madam Speaker. We cannot tolerate such in this civilized country. We need to have people who are sober in those offices, because it's pointless to jail people and other who have said the same words, and other people are still operating the offices. That is not helping us. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chasefu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me an opportunity to debate on the motion of the President. Madam Speaker, a month ago, the councils in Eastern Province were called in Chipata, our provincial center, for a very important meeting. That meeting was to deal with IDPs, integrated development plans. They met there to shape the direction of development on behalf of the people of Chasefu without the inclusion of the Member of Parliament. These meetings have been taking place. Recently, it was in Southern Province. What am I trying to say, Madam Speaker? When the President says, let us look at the Constitution to bring members of Parliament back in Parliament, is for the same reason. I joined the local authorities, Madam Speaker, in 1995. And I was servicing members of Parliament sitting in a council chamber. Why was it designed like that? You must have a common place for you to look at the development for a particular district. But nowadays, we see a situation where councils are doing the IDPs, putting in place what they want to do in that particular area without the consultation of the major stakeholder who is elected by the people to champion development. And yet this is the Member of Parliament who is sitting with 36.1 million. What I would decide with the CDF committee is not sitting in the IDP. We need to reason, Madam Speaker. The issue of dealing with the Constitution is not debatable. We need to amend the Constitution so that all of us, all the stakeholders, should come and sit in an environment where I should be looking at development holistically and as a team. It is non-partisan. It's not an issue of who will be the champion, but for the sole purpose of having a common ground. Members of Parliament were members of the council. Our chiefs, our traditional leaders, have gone back to the council. Why? They are very important stakeholders in terms of development. But the MP is out. I've just given an example of the IDPs that are being put in place. So we are working in silos. This group on its own, uncoordinated. So when the President calls for the amendment, I'm one of them who says, because of my background, I understand the reason why we should have a coordinated way of looking at our development. CDF is a major resource for development. Why should I sit alone with the CDF committee? Madam Speaker, Wimba Council, this brother of ours has lamented. Kapiri, you look at the vast land, and this is the clause that is sitting in our Constitution. That you can only do delimitation when you visit the Constitution. And yet all of us here, we agree that we need to cut our Constitution, our constituencies into reasonable, manageable sizes. But we are very hypocritical to say we don't need to do this, and yet we agree. Me, I'll be one of those to champion, to see to it that we amend the Constitution. I've just picked I've just picked those two. Madam Speaker, I've been following. I can elaborate more, but because of time, I've just given these so that us who are seated here, we should put politics aside and look at the country that we need. There is no way delimitation can sit in the principal law. Where? Population is changing. Other issues are coming on board. We should revisit. And the Constitution says after 10 years, you should revisit the what. But here, no, we say we can go up to 50 years as long as we don't touch the Constitution. Are we being rational? I'm appealing to the conscience of every member that let us be pragmatic. Madam Speaker, in future I would suggest that even in civil society, there should be civil society that are representative. I was elected by the people to come and make laws. Why should people question me on the Constitution? The people of Chasef gave me that the right to come here. So why should someone in civil society question me? And some of these civil society, they've never been to Chasef. They don't know how big Chasef is. So I'm not trying to say they are wrong, but we should future, if I had the wrong, I would have said those to comment on these important things, they must have a network in all the constituencies so that they appreciate when we talk, some of us, we are representing the rural people, that we need delimitation. Madam Speaker, the other one I want to comment is the issue of rule of law. I have seen a great improvement on the rule of law. Seriously speaking, we are here. I never knew that there were by-elections. By-elections that are taking place. Why? Those days when there are by-elections, Madam Speaker, it will be headlines how blood is being. But nowadays, by-elections are taking place as if there are no by-elections. This is encouraging for the country. We should go like this so that our country can be a better nation. I was in Eastern Province. My brother there, Rufeo Ngoma, I went to support him and I want to congratulate him. There was nothing like fighting. We were moving together. And this is how it's supposed to be. So when the Zambians are being told that there is a problem of rule of law, I want to say, no. Things are getting better. But we can do better, Madam Speaker. Lastly, I wanted to talk about CDF. The non-segregative way of giving this CDF by the president. It tells me one. I can take 1 hour. One, he's giving CDF whether you are ruling or opposition. He doesn't choose. He's the president of all the Zambians. He doesn't choose that this is independent. So this is how leadership is defined, Madam Speaker. You look at the nation, the 20 million people who voted for Hakainde Hichilema, they voted for him to be non-segregative. And these monies are being given at the same time. So this is how you say we have good leadership. CDF has changed the lives of the constituencies where we are coming from. Madam Speaker, Chasef is part of Zambia. But the way it was before the enhanced CDF, a rural area, people as if they are not part of this country. Now we are beginning to feel that we belong to this nation. Equity or equal sharing of resources. I want to encourage the president. I always say, eyes on the ball. Close your ears. In Itumbuka we say that. A big animal like a lion will not even check the behind if a rabbit is barking. A lion is a lion. And he is a lion. If small people make noise, forget. You are a lion. Move forward. I submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kafue.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. What can I say after that eloquent debate from the Honorable Member for Chasefo? Well, I will just add to say, indeed, we have a visionary leader who is steering this ship into the right direction. Many of us have referred to the CDF as the game changer. As far as I'm concerned, HH himself is the game changer. Why do I say so? It's because things that we used to think they were normal and bad as they may have been, he has turned things around. And I want to give the example of nitrogen chemicals of Zambia, NCZ. We all know the good story that has come out of Kafue. Maybe what people don't know is that actually the $7 million that has gone into NCZ is not money borrowed from anywhere. It's internally generated resources due to the good leadership that has happened, starting from the top. When he became the chairman of the IDC, some people expressed, some misgivings as to why the head of state was going to be chairman of IDC. But now we have seen the results from NCZ, and we are happy that the recapitalization of that industry will create the jobs that our youths have been crying for. We are talking about a new economic multi-facility zone coming up in Kafue, something that we did not see coming in the near future. And sometimes I sit back and say sometimes change is inevitable because it does bring good things. For CDF, I mean, the story is familiar, and nobody can now continue to pretend that CDF is not making an impact in our communities. In Kafue, we have Mulangwa, a first ever school built in the rural Lower Zambezi. And right now, as I'm talking, we are working also on a new road from the same rural program, but using our CDF, fund. All that is the good leadership, which indeed must remain focused, because there will always be noise making. But I think the new dawn is really on the right trajectory, and we have to continue, moving in that direction of transforming our country and consolidating the economic and social gains towards a prosperous Zambia, according to the theme of His Excellency's speech. Last week I was listening with interest, and I wished Honorable Munduvire was here when he was, trying to trivialize actually the issue of CDF by saying, I'm responding to his debate, where he was just trying to tell us, he was telling us, he wanted to make us believe that CDF was so insignificant that it only constituted 2.3% of the budget. Yes, I agree with him. But the point I am making is that if this 2.3% has been able to come up with all these nice things that we are talking about, what more when it's raised to 10%? I think that is what we should be asking for, that it gets increased so that we can even achieve more. In Kafue, if we had the CDF going like this, even for the next 3 terms, I'm sure that we would have resolved all the critical issues that we are experiencing as a constituency. The CDF, Madam Speaker, the CDF. The CDF, Madam Speaker, indeed has demonstrated the issue of not leaving anyone behind. Because for the people of Kafue, the fact that we've been able to put up those schools, those hospitals, those maternity wings in the remotest parts of this country with the shower water running for us, Madam Speaker, we can do without even these other things that we saw that people think that the other government did better. Because our people in Chiawa, would not have benefited, for instance, from a flyover bridge here in Makeni. Nevertheless, the people of Kafue would want to see such a structure now come up at our rail crossing in Kafue, because traffic, Madam Speaker, has become something else. Not too long ago, I personally was trapped, in traffic for 3 hours to pass through the toll gate. And when I looked at all these beautiful achievements on page 34 of our report, talking about what this government has done in terms of road infrastructure, I realized that it's time, that we started also looking at places like Kafue. We need the cabway, dual carriageway extended. Otherwise, Madam Speaker, what good will it do to us for the traffic to be east, and then when it comes to Lusaka going south, it gets constricted. that slow movement of people and goods does not do well for the economy. And the people of Kafue have come up with brilliant proposals, Madam Speaker, of how, in fact, instead of disturbing, so to say, our existing road, we could actually come up with a new one from the Linda Junction, passing through the farms somewhere in Chanyanya and Mungu, and this road will actually pass in front of where the new M phase is coming up. So this has become a very important economic road that I would want to submit now and even through our budget as it gets presented next week, Madam Speaker. That way I think we'll be saving the resources of undoing and redoing. We'll rather come up.
The budget will be presented on Friday.
On Friday this week. That's how much we are in a hurry as the people of Kafue to see what the budget will hold, for us. There are a lot of things, a lot of nice things that were said in the President's speech. And Madam Speaker, as far as I'm concerned, everything was a kwenyu after kwenyu after kwenyu. The only thing that I would want us to kwenyu next time when he comes is the issue of gender equality.
The honorable member for Kafue, what is kwenyuna?
Kwenyu means giving a tick for a job well done in all spheres, in all sectors, education, health, you name them. Not too long ago we were talking about the energy, the elephant in the room. But Madam Speaker, one sector out of 10 giving us challenges means that the pass rate there is very high. And even then, the minister here was on the floor to articulate what efforts government is actually doing to address the issue of energy. And he rightly pointed out that our government is actually providing leadership to this, because in the past, we had overlooked about, coming up with alternative sources of energy. And now this new Dawn government is addressing that. Exactly, this is what in the past had happened also to education when we had low pass rates, Madam Speaker. It's because governments had forgotten to invest in education in order to create classroom space. But this is what the new Dawn government is saying. So I was saying, Madam Speaker, that the issue of gender equality, for us, it remains another very critical area where we want, that women can sit side by side with men. In this parliament, we are tired being the 20 of us among the 130 men. So, gender equality and constitutionalism, and indeed Bill 7, which gives us hope for gender equality, we would want it back. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The honorable member for Mufumbwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving actually the people of Mufumbwe this good time so that they can also contribute to the presidential speech. In supporting this speech, I would like to...
Order, honorable members. Since today is the last day, we don't have time. I've seen a lot of names. Yes. People indicating to debate. So if we waste time on points of orders, it won't help us. The honorable ministers will start responding to the issues tomorrow. That will be raised from the backbenchers' debates. So I won't allow any point of order until we finish all these people today. The honorable member for Mufumbwe, you may continue.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I'm trying to contribute actually on one thing. To start with, I want to contribute on the issue to do with agriculture. Last time actually people were saying, no, President Hakainde Hichilema, God has forsaken him. And that is the reason why we had that drought. No sooner had they spoken like that than God answered our prayers. Yes. And gave us actually some rains. And now we have bumper harvest. This bumper harvest, Madam Speaker, has come with its own challenges. I want to join my colleague, Honorable Nyambose, who was saying we need to have the delimitation. What has happened in Mufumbwe, because of the vastness of Mufumbwe, some people on the other side, their maize has not been bought up to now because the budget was small. I want to encourage the members here that next time we should make sure that we give Department of Agriculture or Minister of Agriculture a lot of money. Because in Mufumbwe we have got 18 wards, and you have to travel about 600 kilometers to reach the other side, meaning the other side is not being taken care of. My suggestion is that next time we should put more satellite depots, so that at least even those people who are in the furthest areas, they are able to sell their maize. The other thing that I want to support the budget, Madam Speaker, another Kwenyu in Mufumbwe. I'm sure you have heard that Mufumbwe has been everywhere. This time around the government came in and made proposals that all those illegal miners should stop actually mining illegally. And currently, as I speak, we have actually more than 100 people that have been trained and given artisanal licenses. All what we are waiting for now is to be given tenements so that they start mining. Indeed, the Honorable Member for Kafiwe, it's not actually the CDF which is a game changer. I want to say that President Hakainde Hichilema is a game changer, because the people of Mufumbwe now, they have been given artisanal mining licenses. Not only that, as that was not enough, Madam Speaker, some more 200 cooperatives have been actually given to Kasempa and Mufumbwe, who are yet to be trained. So what we are saying is that that is another way of creating employment. So we are going to see a lot of people actually going. In fact, Madam Speaker, these artisanal licenses, some of them, even those from Kalulush, they are running there to go and join us. So because of the gold which is there, we want to speak to the Honorable Minister for Mines that we should expedite the process. Because if we are saying we don't want the minerals to be sold to the foreigners, then we should also provide actually those things that they use, the detectors. If those detectors are not provided, then the foreigners will keep on exploiting our people. So we are asking actually the Minister of Mines to make sure that as soon as they give them the tenements, they should also give them at least even a loan, so that they have got those detectors, they are able to detect the minerals, and they are able to sell the minerals to ZCCM-IH. The other thing that I want to maybe appreciate the government is the issue to do with education. In Mufumbwe, Madam Speaker, for the first time, we have been given a lot of money to construct 2 boarding secondary schools. One in the remotest area, which is Miruj. And so far, about 13 million has been spent, and a lot of progress is happening. And that is what we call another Kwenyu. Not only that, we have got another secondary school which is being constructed in Shukwe Ward. That is another Kwenyu. And now we're asking the Minister of Education that the other secondary school, the boarding secondary school, which was constructed a long time ago, and which is almost at 80%, we are appealing that some more money be put there so that at least we are able to open that school, which is going to help the people of Mufumbwe. And also, let me also appreciate the government. The other thing that we are appreciating the government is that we have been given some more money to construct some roads, about 116 kilometers of roads. And this company had already gone there. A 200 million kwacha has been put there in order to do what? In order to construct those roads. People of Zambia, indeed, why can't we appreciate this? So what the government said, the new donor government, what they agreed that they are going to do, it is being actualized. And the people of Mufumbwe are saying another Kwenyu. The other thing that we want to talk about, look at the CDF. When you look at the CDF, Madam Speaker, you and I, we were here. You saw how we suffered. The CDF was 1.6.
Honorable Member, don't put me in your debate.
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1.4. At some point it was 750. Now, the people of Mufumbwe want to tell the nation that next time, from the time we started receiving actually CDF, we have received more than 100 million for the people of Mufumbwe. And that 100 million has managed us actually to construct maternity annex, water electrification. We have managed to construct, and currently we're even constructing a mini hospital. What else are we looking for? Actually, to support this government, indeed, we need the President Hakainde Hichilema. He needs our support. All of us here, people who are seated there. We are what we are today. Imagine, this time around, we didn't even have a CDF. What were we going to do? We are not going to do anything here. We used to spend a lot of money buying iron sheets, spending a lot of money. We became actually contractors ourselves to start building schools for the people. But this time around, President Hakainde Hichilema says, no more. Us, government should actually construct this. Including my brother there, when I went to Bangweulu, I found that CDF is doing very fine. So we should not be shy to say that CDF actually is a game changer also. Just as the president is a game changer, CDF actually is also another Kwenyu and a game changer. This is what Kwenyu, it means that we are giving a mark and we are appreciating. That is what it means, Madam Speaker. And finally, before I conclude, I want to say that in terms of education again, I forgot one thing. We have given again some early child education centers. A lot of money has been pumped there. The only thing that we want to talk about in terms of the road network, Madam Speaker, I want to say that the roads in Northwestern Province are almost finished. The only road network which is remaining there, it is just in Mufumbwe district. So my appeal to this government is that just the same way we have been told Katunda Road is being worked out, we also want to see Mutanda Chavuma Road being worked out. Because Sesheke Kazungula, those roads actually, we spent a lot of time there talking about them. The people of Northwestern Province are saying we want also our roads to be done. And this is the only time, because we are the ones who are there, we supported this UPND and we have seen it in power. So we are saying our roads also should be done, just the same way they have been done in other places. Madam Speaker, I want to thank you because the time is not enough.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Mwasabombwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving this opportunity to the people of Mwasabombwe to add their voice to the presidential speech which was presented to this House on Friday, the 12th.
Honorable members.
Madam Speaker, I will center my debate on energy. Madam Speaker, if you look at what is happening at the moment in this country concerning energy, it's a very sad situation, Madam Speaker. Energy, it's what moves the economy. And if you look at what it has done to the small businesses, Madam Speaker, it's quite saddening. Each economy, for an economy to grow, Madam Speaker, SMEs contribute a lot to the growth of the economy. But if you look at what is happening at the moment, Madam Speaker, is most of these small businesses are folding up because of lack of energy. They don't have power to make sure that their businesses are moving. If you look at the people, even in my constituency in Mwasabombwe, welders, those who are running small businesses, butcheries, saloons, they are failing to operate because of load shedding. And from the presidential speech, we expected the people of Mwasabombwe expected the president to give hope to the SMEs and to the people of Zambia at large. But if you look at what was in the speech which the president presented to this House, the president acknowledged to say his government has failed to deal with the issues of load shedding. Madam Speaker, if you look at what the PF did when they came into power, when PF took power in 2011, we had found power supply was at 1,600 megawatts. By the time we were leaving this office, PF had left power at 3,300 megawatts. This shows to say that at least this government did something in terms of making sure that there was more energy in this country. And then one other thing which is making me even to be more worried is about this issue. We've continued to preach so much about solar energy being the alternative source of power. Madam Speaker, if I can bring to your attention, what it is that baseload power is much more important if we have to develop this country. At the moment, at full capacity, baseload power, if generated, which is 3,700, can only accommodate 1,000 megawatts of solar energy. So meaning that even if we were to produce 3,000 megawatts of solar energy, that solar energy won't be accommodated into the national grid. So as much as we are preaching about investing into solar energy, let us look at alternative source, which is baseload power, which is power generated from hydro or thermostat. If again, Madam Speaker, I take you to the same situation whereby at the moment we are generating power even at half of our full capacity, meaning that even if we had 1,000 megawatts of solar energy, that won't be accommodated into the national grid. This is where the issues I'm failing to understand why this government is pushing so much solar energy instead of concentrating on baseload energy. Madam Speaker, what has happened to the wisdom of Dubai, where the president has said this country has no rains, but they still provide power, there is no load shedding? What has happened to that wisdom? That's the wisdom we need in Zambia to make sure that people in their houses are relieved from the suffering they are enduring. People have even stopped budgeting because you can't budget the way they used to budget, because if they go ahead, buy things, put in their fridges, before they realize things will go bad, which is even making it more difficult for the Zambians when it comes to spending their resources. You know, budgeting is very important as you move on as a family. Madam Speaker, let me also touch on the issue of good governance. Yes, so many things have been preached about good governance, and the previous debater even mentioned to say previously during by-elections there were so many things which used to happen and the likes. Madam Speaker, I've been in a couple of campaigns and I've been a victim of harassment and been attacked. Even my car outside has got a dent because of by-elections. These are some of the things, as we are even saying, to say, let us be one as a people of Zambia. These things in by-elections, the violence in by-elections, they're still happening. They are still happening, and I'm saying from experience, Madam Speaker, because I've been involved in some of these things I'm talking about. So the issue of good governance, it shouldn't just be one-sided. It should be seen to be working on both sides, whereby if one thing happens to the other side, even on the other side, the same thing has to be applied, Madam Speaker. As I conclude, Madam Speaker, my contribution, Madam Speaker, the only thing I would like to urge this government is to say, can they pull up their socks and make sure to say power in terms of energy is being restored to the people of Zambia. It's only when there is full power supply that this economy will develop as the way we would want it to develop, Madam Speaker. And one other thing which is even make me to be more sad, Madam Speaker, here are the mines who we have given so many concessions, and yet if you look at the people who are consuming even this same power, they are the mines. But these are the mines who are giving concessions at the expense of Zambian people. 70% of the power which is generated by ZESCO is consumed by the mines. But what incentives are we giving to the Zambian people? What incentives are we giving to the Zambian people to help them elevate the sufferings they are going through? Madam Speaker, these are some of the issues this government should start interrogating. Are we being fair to the Zambian government? Are we being fair to the Zambian people so that they also benefit from the national coffers? Madam Speaker, let this government change for the better. It is only when they start considering the people of Zambia that they may be considered in the future. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Siavonga.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to make a few comments on the speech that was delivered to this House by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Zambia. Madam Speaker, at times I get disturbed and get shocked that as representatives of the people, as the honorable members of Parliament, would choose at times to say things that are visibly clear and you want to paint them black. When the President was talking about the power deficit in this country, Madam Speaker, the discussions, I want those people to listen. Honorable from Ansavombwe.
Just continue
Thank
with
you
your
very
best
much.
debate, Honorable
I
Member.
wanted him to listen because what I want to say is something that he raised a few minutes ago. That you see, the President did not admit that the government has failed. What the President said is that in about 57 years, there was little attention that the successful government paid to the energy sector. They never paid attention. The investment that went there was so little. And looking at the economical activities that were coming, looking at the population that was growing, and the economic activities that were coming up, government at that time, they went to sleep. They never realized that the growth of the population, the growth of the economy demanded the growth in power generation in our energy sector. Madam Speaker, I want to speak about the CDF, which everyone has already spoken, and everyone knows wherever you are, whether you are in Kachivia, whether you are in Bangweulu, whether you are in Mwansawombwe, CDF is there and our people are appreciating. Madam Speaker, if my colleagues in this House are not appreciating the CDF as a game changer, at least there are people appreciating it. The free education that we have seen under this government, and the President has stressed actually the point that no normal government, no responsible government will ever do away with free education. Because their children, our relatives in villages, our relatives elsewhere are able to benefit. More than 2 million learners have gone back to school. More than 2 million, including learners in Bangweulu, and including learners in Bangweulu. They have gone back. And those that could not manage tertiary education, they were sponsored by the CDF. And today, Honorable Gatotowe is a very happy member of Parliament because everyone else is enjoying the national cake. Unlike maybe the way it was in the previous governments. Madam Speaker, when you talk of the CDF, what it has done, in Siavonga, places like Chimata, where we thought we could never have a school, places like Magakanya, places like Kaumpwe, places like Siavamba, and all those places, CDF has reached those areas. And we have seen the transformation of the lives of our people in our constituencies. Those that could not go for tertiary education, we are able to sponsor them. They are able to go to get skills, development skills, the skills that will keep them for the rest of their lives. What a responsible government. What a wonderful government. And I can't imagine, just like I've never heard of a caring and loving government like this one. There is no government, both now and in the future, that will surpass the record of this government, the New Dawn government. What it has done, those that are in mining towns, they will tell you that there are people who are languishing in poverty, and no government cared. No government cared. The only people that enjoyed were those that were supplying and getting things, even on exorbitant, even supplying air, they were enjoying. But a lot of people are suffering. But the revamping of these mining companies or mining industry today in Copper Belt, it has regained its name as Copper Belt. And we have seen people doing a lot of things there. The honorable member for Garurushi is aware, and he say he's doing this because everything is working. Shaft 28, more than 20 years down. KCM, Mopan Mine, all these members, Kalengwa, and for 6 years, Kalengwa Mine, and there have been governments in Mufumbwe. This is the reason as to why. This is the reason as to why everybody is so happy with this. Madam Speaker, government has even put now, is working on, they have rehabilitated airports in all provincial centers. And we have seen in Kasama, we have seen in Chipata, we have seen in Mongu, and they are coming to Choma, they are going to Nakonde, they are going to Mansa, all those places. That's what the government is doing. The government is giving every single Zambian to taste the national cake in one way or another. And this one, my colleague Pavuma believed it. He believed it, that everybody
the honorable member
our people are cracking.
Please don't involve other members of parliament in your debate.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to mention, because we are on the same page with him. Madam Speaker, when it comes to corruption, I remember when the president came, he actually stressed the point that this government is fighting the corruption of yesterday, the corruption of today, and the corruption of tomorrow. And a few members, even in this house, were murmuring, why don't you arrest them? Why don't we see convictions? And he said he has always been very, very methodical. And he followed that. And slowly we started seeing convictions. Madam Speaker, I couldn't believe when I read that one former minister would walk into the bank and withdraw $11 million cash. Hard cash. What kind of a government is this? Madam Speaker, today we are able to see what this government is able to do using the monies that are not coming from outside. And I ask you one question to the Zambian people. In the absence of the Eurobond, where are these ambulances coming from? Where are these police vehicles coming from? Monitoring vehicles coming from? And everything that we see around in our constituencies, where are they coming from? And ask yourself, Zambians, where was this money going? All this money that you have seen taking your children back to school, all this money you have seen building schools around, sending everybody, giving our people even cash for work, where was this money going to at that time? Think twice. What we know is that is Kwenyu after Kwenyu, because this government has done what Napoleon has failed to do. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Before the honorable member for Momba comes in, I'll invite the honorable member for Chiruvi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think I'll confine myself to agriculture, since I'm from the rural area, and I believe that agriculture is a drive and a force for rural development. Madam Speaker, I was a bit taken aback with a lot of statistics that were in the speech by the President. The President started with a paragraph on agriculture where he talked about the production, and I think we all know that Zambia, since independence, has only done 2 agricultural-based censuses. And the only one which was done latest, it is to do with livestock, which was done in 2022. And I don't know where those statistics would have come from, especially that we are talking about 3.7 million being the highest ever since. And I think that would have been put in a better context than it was. Why I say so, Madam Speaker, is that when we look at independence, Zambia was at 3.5 million people. And currently, the population is density average is 19.24 per square kilometer. Now, when we look at the factors that had to go into agriculture, Madam Speaker, we have to respond to how many farmers did we have. If you look at the transformation of farming from the independence time to post-independence, it was predominated by white farmers. And many of these peasants who are farming now were confined to soils that are not even fertile and the like. So, to say a statement that this is the first time we have had that production without taking into consideration population of farmers, population of the country, and many other factors is amiss. Madam Speaker, when we look at the data, we are still lacking up to date. We are still lacking both quantitative data as well as qualitative data in agriculture. It's scanty. Madam Speaker, I want to address what the President said in paragraph 37. The President in paragraph 37 talked about scores of the 2,500 mechanization and tractors. And he also talked about 4,025 farmers accessing mechanization funds. Madam Speaker, it is in this House, Madam Speaker, that we debated the audit report on the 8th National Development Plan. And further, Madam Speaker, I would refer to a report of 2024 annual progress report. It says that these were not delivered. But in paragraph 37, the President says 2,500 delivered. I know that the President doesn't work alone, but people betrayed him on this particular statistic.
It's the farmers, honorable member. The 2,500, you talked about the farmers that accessed, not the input, the machinery that was distributed. If you can.
Speaker, I have a speech here. I can read, Madam Speaker, if I'm given time to read. And the modernization of agriculture, government has, for the first time, established 40 mechanization, and then later on there it says, so far, more than 2,500 farmers have accessed mechanization services, ranging from plowing, planting, spraying, harvesting. But the Auditor General report is saying these did not receive. And if you go in the progress report, Madam Speaker, you read from page 31 to page 36. They said this was not there, but the President captured this was done. That's what I was referring to, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, having said that, agriculture also should be seen in the context of the poverty reduction papers, the MDGs and SDGs, and that particular transformation has influenced our agriculture. Madam Speaker, agriculture has also got inputs and outputs. For instance, Madam Speaker, Chilubi has been receiving 10,500 D compound, and it now received 10,500 D compound. I want to put this into context of how government policy really influenced the bumper harvest. The same number, maybe what was supposed to be compared is 2020, 2021, and up to date. There would have said that we are, the statistics of 3.7 have beaten those statistics. Not from the time that we got independence, really, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I want also to say that the inputs also include land, labor, technology, and capital. And I think there we are missing that we didn't put these things in place. The audit report is there to show. Then, the output, about the output, it's in this parliament that we approved 300 million for farming blocks. The Minister of Agriculture admitted that that was a failed project. I expected that the President, our President, talked about irrigation. He would have talked about that particular challenge and captured it in the right perspective, so that at the end of the day, we can be on the same page. Madam Speaker, I am coming from a rural area where we are in trouble of maize marketing. And government is not a monocrop arrangement. It's a mixed crop arrangement. thereby, Madam Speaker, if you look at why I'm talking about a mixed crop arrangement, is that the president mainly tackled 2 crops in there. But when we look at the crops that factor into production of feed, and we have the livestock and so forth, it is a mixed crop arrangement. But now we have paralyzed, corrupted agriculture into a monocrop arrangement called maize. When we look at what we are producing in these other factors, it's a sorry sight. The price of feed, 25 kg, in 2021 was costing 313 kwacha. Today, it is costing 728,000 kwacha. Madam Speaker, those are very alarming, statistics. It has got a spillover effect on the protein value, meaning chicken, fish, and many other factors will go up because what is being used to feed is going up. Even at Parliamentary, motel and other places and other restaurants, the fish we are consuming currently, especially in form of fresh fish, is coming from 11 fisheries. And these 11 fisheries depend on the feed. And maize is the best material. If meal is going down, why is feed not going down? That is a paradox that we need to look at. Madam Speaker, the issue of 10 bags by the farmers and 10 bags of maize and 7 bags of rice has to be revisited, Madam Speaker, because it's not going to be helpful. Currently, we have a chaotic marketing season because government just want to buy 500 metric tons, leaving 3.2 on the market. Who is going to redeem that? And the farmers are panicking to see where do they sell. We cannot even talk about food security because this maize, we do not have it. The government has only captured part of it. And the farmers, if they are to access this, they are using corruption for them to get the maize. So this scenario, Madam Speaker.
Just finish your sentence. Your time is up.
This scenario, Madam Speaker, has put the country in a scenario where I know that the president in the other paragraph talked about export. Are we going to export the 3.2 outside? And with which method? Is it giving export permits which are not controlled? And at the end of the day, we may find ourselves in another anger when we have a bumper harvest. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honourable Member for Momba.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the voice of Momba also to be heard on this subject matter. Madam Speaker, allow me to read on page 5, paragraph 19 of the President's speech. Madam Speaker, I read. The UPND New Dawn administration has made positive strides in enhancing fiscal prudence and addressing the debt crisis. Today, we are happy to report that over 92% of our external debt has been successfully restructured. Now, Madam Speaker, to put the context, under the PF in 2016, Madam Speaker, figures don't lie, as the President would say. In 2016, Madam Speaker, our external debt was $7.72 billion. That was in 2016. In 2021, under the PF still, our external debt was $14.71 billion. Meaning, Madam Speaker, within 5 years, the PF had borrowed $6.99 billion. $6.99 billion. As of June 2025, this year, our external debt is standing at $15.78 billion, which means this government, the UPND, Madam Speaker, has only borrowed in 4 years $1.07 billion. These are the numbers. You subtract, what I remember for Kalulushi, 15.78 billion minus 14.71 will give you 1.07. You can go to the research department, you find these figures.
The Honourable Member for Momba, you are debating through me.
Madam Speaker, what am I trying to say? The PF government, Madam Speaker, now the opposition, are in a very serious situation. Because, Madam Speaker, us in Tonga, we say, Wanina Mumenda Motegela. What does that mean? Madam Speaker, that means, sorry to use that term, when a child wants, Madam Speaker, to relieve himself or herself, he will say, Mom, I want to poop. So what the PF government or the opposition now have done, Madam Speaker, they want to offer checks and balances on the date they did. What do I mean? It is as good as them having pooped. Me, I grew up in the village. Madam Speaker, I'm
honorable member for Momba, I'm sure there is a better example than that one.
Madam Speaker, so what I'm trying to say is, Madam Speaker,
can you just withdraw pooping, whatever?
Madam Speaker,
can you find a better example? Just withdraw.
Madam Speaker.
Order, honorable member for Kalulushi. Order, honorable member for Kalulushi. I'm trying to guide the member who is on the floor.
Madam
The
Speaker.
honorable member for Momba, I said withdraw the sentence that was it in Tonga and then translated into English. After withdrawing, can you find a better example?
Madam Speaker, obliged. I want to withdraw the Tonga saying which said, Wanina Mumenda Motegela. I withdraw it, Madam Speaker. And the example I want to give is, Madam Speaker, all the mess this country is facing now is as a result of this debt which the PF created. And I was saying, they are in a difficult situation to bring us to book because of the debt which they contracted. Madam Speaker, if you just check, here is the situation. Our president is sworn in and he has appointed ministers. You go to the treasury, even after borrowing this much, you find the treasury is empty. You want to buy fuel, you are told that in the next three months you can't buy fuel because there's no money. And the president goes to say, can we borrow some so that we buy fuel? And you are told you can't borrow because you are abroad. Because by then, the ratio of our debt to the GDP was 120%. And here is a man with his team who are stuck, Madam Speaker, because of what I said, which we have withdrawn.
The honorable member for Momba, then it means you have not withdrawn. If you keep on referring to it,
my apologies, Madam Speaker.
Just withdraw it and
Madam Speaker, so you find yourself in a situation where you have contracted debt.
Order, honorable members. Order. The honorable members who are debating were seated. Order, honorable members. The three members there, where there is the honorable member for Kalulushi, up to the honorable member for Mansabombwe. Can we please observe the decorum of the House? The honorable member for Kalulushi, if you can't control yourself, you might as well leave the House. We want order in the House. The honorable member for Momba, I had guided that you withdraw the word, but you keep on referring to it. Do you still want to debate, or maybe you have exhausted your point?
Madam Speaker, my apologies for mentioning that example I did again. My point, Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to say is this. The challenges that this government has worked so hard to resolve are as a result of the carelessness of the previous government. They borrowed heavily, Madam Speaker, and if you look at the monies which they borrowed, today, to account for it in terms of each way that which was borrowed, it's a very big problem. And then within the same period, when they were managing the economy, you see a lot of corrupt cases. And Madam Speaker, today, I can stand here confirming that the PF was very corrupt, because we have some of the members serving in prisons. They are serving various sentences in prison because of corruption. Then you want to ask yourself, where did this money go? It means then this money went into their pockets. So that's why I'm saying, Madam Speaker, they don't have the position to stand, and then we start questioning this government, which has worked so hard, Madam Speaker, to clean up the mess which they created. That is my point. Madam Speaker, one of the senior members of the party last week was saying, oh, what we are seeing is the 2.5% in terms of the CDF of the total budget. And he was asking a question to say, where is the other money? And then I started wondering, Madam Speaker, 2016 to 2021, I had challenges in my constituency, Momba constituency, because you go to every health center, you find there are no medicines. Madam Speaker, yesterday I was returning from the constituency. I can affirm on the floor of this house that all the health centers, they have 100% of the medicines. The drugs are 100%. And then ask a question, that is not money from CDF? That is part of the budget. This time around, Madam Speaker, there is no department in the government which is behind in terms of salaries. And one member, a senior member, is asking a question to say, where is the other money for the budget gone? Madam Speaker, I can go on and on. We have social cash transfer, that which has helped our people. Madam Speaker, that is part of the budget support. We have, Madam Speaker, this time around, cash for work. That is not part of the CDF, because you want to project as if all what we are doing is 2.5% of the budget, when there are these other payments. The last thing, Madam Speaker, because the President was talking about what we have done in the last 4 years. Last year, Madam Speaker, 2024, for us MPs who are coming from the rural constituencies, if it was not for this government, our people would have died of hunger. Madam Speaker, that one I can confirm. In 2018, we had a bit of a hunger under the PF. And we saw what our people went through just to get a bag of maize from Mukonchi across the Kafia border, where they were being refused to, just if you have 2 bags of maize. One of member of Parliament from Pangweulu can confirm that, because on the floor of this house, we would complain that the members of Parliament on the side of the Kafia River, we were being denied to transport maize for our people to eat. But this government, Madam, last year managed to feed everyone, without exception. Everyone without exception. As from those people, we are being given a gaga. Number 3 meal. That's what they are giving us as money, as maize for Jibwantu. And today you want to stand here and say this government has not done anything. Madam Speaker, I want to ask the PF, the colleagues who are there, especially the senior members, to do an introspection. Are they starting to debate this most important motion? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Before the Honorable Member for Shangombo comes in, I'm going to invite the Honorable Member for Kaumbwe, who is seated so quietly. The Honorable Member for Kaumbwe.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, to allow the people of Kaumbwe to debate on the presidential speech that was delivered to this August House on 12th September 2025. From the onset, I quote what the President said, that we can have different opinions, but we are not enemies. And we cannot afford to politicize economic development. It is all it is all our intended purpose to see the economic development of our people, and we want to be part and parcel of that success story. In Chinese it's called the Jingji Fajan. Meaning politics and economic development cannot move together. Well, in this shortest possible time, I will focus my attention on page 34, transport and infrastructure. Transport and infrastructure, I will relate to what my constituency would benefit from this topic on page 34. As Kaumbe constituency, in 2021, we did an audit, an infrastructure audit, to check the gap, the deficit that we have in the constituency in order to reach at least at fundamental level of operations, such as we need about 300 houses for civil servants. We need 44 classroom blocks. We need 10 major bridges. We need 10 dams. So, this infrastructure deficit, what is the platform in terms of financing and sources of revenue that we can use in order to narrow the gap? We have CDF as a resource. We have CDF as a resource, and this CDF has been a game changer. So far we have constructed more than 20 1x3 classroom blocks. We have constructed a dam. We have constructed a lot of water supply systems. The CDF is appreciated. However, we are looking forward to Friday's budget presentation that the CDF might be increased, because the infrastructure gap, more especially in rural constituencies, is so huge that without this resource, it is very difficult for teachers, agricultural officers to conduct their mandate. The gaps that are in the CDF is that the financing of the CDF package per constituency that is announced in any fiscal year is very, very inconsistent. Therefore, this makes us not perform according to our expectations. We urge the Ministry of Finance to disperse the funds as per the CDF guidelines to all constituencies on time. I can give an example. Like right now, I'm not sure that all the constituencies for 2025 budget, the 36.1 million is almost given or not. All the constituency we're still owed close to 9 million kwacha. Funding gap needs to be improved. We look at contractors executing these works, more especially infrastructure, because I've chosen the topic on infrastructure. Contractors that are selected by the councils, it is amazing to find out that a project that is supposed to take 2 months or 3 months, such as a 1x3 classroom block, takes 2 years. Contractors are not even taken to courts to apply contractual obligations. And yet, when we give loans to our people, we are asking that these people should be taken to court, those loan defaulters. It is not fair. We must balance. People who get loans and they don't pay, if they are taken to court, we should also see that the contractors who are privileged to execute these works, they need to be taken to court as well. And we cannot afford to construct a 1x2 classroom block in 2 years. We are in a hurry to build this nation. The roads on page 34, the source of financing is PPP, public-private partnerships. There is public financing and private financing to finance our roads. There are several examples. The Shakandola Bio Carriageway
the Kasumbalesa, what's the name of the road? Yes, the T6. Yeah. Now, the Rwansha Kisenge Masangano Road, there are quite a number of roads that are being executed, that are being implemented under the PPP project, PPP model. The PPP model needs to be refined to the level that the application of the PPP laws need to be consistent. I'll give an example of the inconsistencies that are noted. Lusakandola Dual Carriageway, you compare with Chingola Kasumbalesa Road, the model in both projects was PPP model. The PPP model for Lusakandola Dual Carriageway, before the contractor can construct the road and hand over to the government, he is already collecting the benefits by giving him the targets. It is very easy, very difficult as to the Zambian people to understand in this model, because in this way then it is not treated as a PPP model. It could have been, it was unfair to other contractors, other builders, other concessionaires if this clause was not advertised in the beginning, because it could have even been given to a Zambian contractor or even a South African contractor or anybody in the region. So the same law, if you look at the Chingola Kasumbalesa Road, it is not there. We look at T6, it is not there. So I'm saying the PPP projects, the laws must be consistent throughout the implementation of these projects. In these few words, I want to support the speech. Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice on the presidential speech. Madam Speaker, this group of members of parliament from 2021 to 2026 are very lucky. Why am I saying so, Madam Speaker? It's because of the enhanced CDF. I'm sure even next year after the elections, the return ratio will be more than what has been happening in the past. Because as members of parliament, we've been empowered by the president, the vice president, the minister of finance, and of course, the entire cabinet. Madam Speaker, in 2019, when we were given 700,000 kwacha for CDF, 700,000 by the PF government. We got a portion of that money. We hired ZNS equipment. We tried to grade our road from Matevere to Shangombo. We only did 20 kilometers of regraveling, but because I refused to vote for Bill-10, they grabbed the equipment and the fuel to go and work on the
Honorable
road.
Member for Shangombo, please stick to the speech by the President, not what happened to you. You may continue, Honorable Member for Shangombo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's on CDF. Enhanced CDF. Because of what the PF did, now at Shangombo, we are the first constituency in the province to acquire the yellow machines. We now have our own graders. What about us? Name them. So we've started working on our township roads. We are now going to open up Shangombo, putting up feeder roads. What of the CDF? So, Madam Speaker, the member of Madam Speaker, that's why even outside this house there are some people who are advocating for term limits for member of parliament. So who is going to pass that law? Who is going to pass that law?
So, Madam Speaker.
The honorable member for Shangombo, is that in the president's address? You may continue.
Good governance, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, there is no term limit for members of parliament. Madam Speaker, can it be fair, really? I've just turned 50. Our youth chairman here from Mulovezi is a first termer. Will it be fair for me to retire and leave our youth chairman alone here? So, Madam Speaker, we are not going anywhere. Because of this CDF, we are going to retain our seats. We are going to retain our seats. And through you, Madam Speaker, when I came here with the youth, I honor the Vice President then was the Chief Government Spokesperson. She used to sit there. Honorable Masebo is here. Honorable Siakali, Honorable Mirupi, they are here. I have been trained well. I have been well trained. So,
the honorable member for Shangombo, don't forget the speech.
Madam Speaker, good governance. As elected members of parliament, we should lead by example. So even when people are saying, no, the youth should come and live, it's good governance. You can even compare. That's why, Madam Speaker, in the province, Shangombo came out the best performing council because of experience. So we are going to continue leading and leading well. Madam Speaker, I'm not going anywhere. Madam Speaker, I can foresee Shangombo by 2031, when the term of office for President Hakainde comes to an end. Of course, us will still continue. Shangombo will have more classrooms than what was there from the time this earth was created to 2021. We are going to have more clinics in Shangombo, because our target to have a minimum of 3 clinics, per ward. We are building maternity annexes in Shangombo, so many classrooms. There is this talk outside this house where whenever there's something bad, they are referring to Shangombo and Kaputa. Madam Speaker, those people should stop it. They should first of all come to Shangombo and see what we are doing in Shangombo. Shangombo is now a construction site. Even those teachers or civil servants who have been punished in the past, that whenever you advise correctly, you are sent to Shangombo. Some of them are settled there, they have refused to come back. So, Madam Speaker, we've just formed the government. So we'll ask those people who are busy advocating outside that, where were they in our times of need? So we are still here. We have to continue our project. Madam Speaker, the only difficulty that we have at Shangombo is the issue of network. The President spoke about network. The Minister of Science, I wish he was here, but through the Vice President, please, can we ensure that we upgrade our network in Shangombo from 2G to 3 and to 4G and also maybe 5G, so that the reality of ICTs in our schools is achieved. Because currently, in some parts of Shangombo, the network comes around 8 hours. By 16, 17 hours, it's off because the batteries for Zamtel are finished, have expired. So I want to urge the Minister of Science to ensure that they engage Zamtel, that we have network in some parts of the district 24/7. Madam Speaker, this President, we should, as Zambians, we should thank God and the parents of this President, because what he has done and what he's continuing to do is well. He means well for this country. We should all support this President to ensure that he has good health so that this country can benefit. And not even members of parliament from the opposition, most of them, they will come back.
because of our CDF. So this President, I want to urge all members of Parliament, all the Zambians, to ensure that next year we support him, we vote for him, so that we
The
can...
honorable member for Shangombo, I think
in the
during
presidential
the
speech,
opening remarks by Her Honor the Vice President, she urged all honorable members not to use this house as a tool for campaign. So you're already campaigning for next year. Please, can we avoid that?
I've taken note, Madam Speaker. Good governance. Madam Speaker, the new member of Parliament for Mirenge, he should come for tuitions on how to come back. Free tuition, you can come back. So, Madam Speaker, all I'm trying to say that we have good leadership in place. We have good governance in place. We should all ensure that we monitor our projects in our constituencies so that the people who vote for us also benefit. Madam Speaker, with those few words, I would like to end by saying that can we be supported as members of Parliament so that the Minister of Finance can quickly release CDF for 2025, the last portion is remaining, so that we complete our 2025, but we can finish all our projects so that we all come back. Madam Speaker, without involving you, I also wish to see you next year after elections, but I can't say that. So thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for the time given to me. Thank you.
Before the honorable member for Kanyama, I will invite the independent member of Parliament from Pongwe. The honorable member from Pongwe is not there? Okay. The honorable member for Bahati.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to debate the presidential speech. Madam Speaker, from the offset, I must state that
Sorry.
I'll try to be objective. Quiet. Madam Speaker, I'll try to be objective, and I'll focus my debate on the energy sector. Madam Speaker, let me begin by thanking Honorable Kampampi for Mansawombwe for his debate on the energy sector. Madam Speaker, page 23.91 in the presidential speech, I quote, "In the 57 years prior to 2021, growth in demand for power consumption significantly outstripped investment in power generation." It reads transformation, Madam Speaker, but I think there's a typo here. It should be transmission and distribution. For too long, this issue did not receive the needed attention. For too long, this issue did not receive the needed attention. Our government is actively addressing this challenge. And Madam Speaker, I'll try to respond to this. Madam Speaker, in 2011, the installed capacity of this country, which is the generation capacity, was at 1,600 megawatts. And in 2021, Madam Speaker, the generation capacity increased to 3,400 megawatts, doubling what was there before 2021. Madam Speaker, most of the transmission lines, the distribution lines, the interconnectors were built during the period 2011 to 2021. I must state here, Madam Speaker, that there was massive investment in this sector between 2011 and 2021. And Honorable Kapala is nodding. There was massive investment, Madam Speaker. Hundreds of millions of dollars were put in this sector. Madam Speaker, let me quickly go to page 25, where the President is proposing that we set up 750 megawatts of solar so as to end load shedding. Madam Speaker, in my debate, I'll endeavor to even provide a solution to the current load shedding that we're facing. Madam Speaker, the 750 solar is not enough to end load shedding. We're proposing, Madam Speaker, as a people of Bahati, that instead of 750 megawatt solar, we should do 3,000 megawatt solar. So that, Madam Speaker, during the day, in this country, during the day, we should be sitting on a solar system. We should be sitting on these solar farms that we're building. Madam Speaker, if we sit on solar system and we let our machines, our hydro machines, which produce 85% of our power, to be on what is known as spinning reserve, and this, if our machines are on spinning reserve, Madam Speaker, this will save water. But Madam Speaker, our hydro machines will just be coming in. They'll just be kicking in when there's loss of generation or when their demand spikes. I'm sure Honorable Honorable Minister of Infrastructure knows what I'm talking about. Honorable Gapara knows what I'm talking about. Madam Speaker, this solar that we're producing now, the 100 megawatts at Chisamba that the President talked about, is just giving us power during the day. As of yesterday, Madam Speaker, 1650, the production at Chisamba was 0. The production at the Bangweulu Solar Park. Yes! You do not know, they do not understand this issue. Madam Speaker, let me speak. Give me.
Order,
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, the solar solutions that we have in the country, we have no capacity to. We've got no capacity to store that solar power. Madam Speaker, the moment the energy is generated, it has to be used. So, Madam Speaker, when you go out now to the Chisamba Solar Park, the output is 0 as at now. Madam Speaker, it's active from 06 to about 16 hours. So, Madam Speaker, if we can use this, Madam Speaker, if we can use solar in the morning, keep our water, and use water in the night, then we end this load shedding. And Madam Speaker, we should endeavor
Order, honorable members. Order.
Madam Speaker, we should endeavor to build 3,000 megawatts instead of the 740 megawatts that the President is talking about. Madam Speaker, all these are saying question. I've got a scenario that I can give you. This is a scenario from the system. The scenario from the system as of yesterday, 1650. Madam Speaker, from the RESCO system.
Honorable member. It's like you are preaching in
Madam
church.
Speaker, I can give you a scenario from the system. Madam Speaker, as at 17 hours yesterday, production were at 2,088 megawatts. From our solar parks, it was 0. Madam Speaker, these 2,000 megawatts were giving 800 megawatts to the mines. And we are giving 392 megawatts to DRC. At the same time, Madam Speaker, we're also importing power from Zimbabwe, about 192 watts, 192 megawatts. We imported 42 megawatts from Namibia Power, and we imported 2.2 from ESCOM. And Madam Speaker, I must state here that the importation of power is state to state. Madam Speaker, in the Southern African Power Pool, there is no middleman. There is no middleman, Madam Speaker, in that power pool. I'm sticking to a speech. I'm trying to talk about open access. Madam Speaker, there is no middleman. So, Madam Speaker, the demand for Lusaka is about 600 megawatts. That's why, Madam Speaker, I was so worried when somebody said that it's going to be giving compounds 15 hours of power. Where is that going to come from? But, Madam Speaker, as of yesterday, Lusaka was just allocated a meager 300 megawatts. That is not enough to give our compounds 10 hours of constant power. Madam Speaker, our people should know the truth. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, Madam Speaker, the President said that works are progressing well. I want to move away from the energy to the road sector on the Mufurira Mukambo Road. Madam Speaker, there's nothing happening. as of now on the Mufulira-Mukambo Road. Nothing happening on the Pedico Road. The contractor has abandoned all his sites. Madam Speaker, I must state that as it is, Madam Speaker, in this speech, there is no solution to the load shedding. The solution is what I've just stated. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Order. Honorable Member for Kafulafuta, I made the mistake. I meant the Honorable Member for Kafulafuta, who is going to come after the Honorable Member for Kanyama.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for opportunity to add a word or two to the presidential speech. Madam Speaker, from onset, I want to thank the President, Mr. Kainde Chilema, the Vice President, and the entire Cabinet for the diligence through which they are put into the fight against corruption. Madam Speaker, you may wish to take note that this country has been faced with significant, corruption challenges for a very long time now. And I want to thank the government for having come to the rescue of the country. And I'm thanking them for the measures which they have put in place to ensure that corruption is actually reduced. Madam Speaker, how do you reduce corruption? I want to learn from one writer by the name of Francois Valerian, who said, corruption will continue to thrive until justice system can punish wrongdoing and keep governments in check. Madam Speaker, when
Order, honorable members.
Madam Speaker, when justice is bought or politically interfered with, it is the people that suffer. He went on to say, leaders should fully invest in and guarantee independence to these institutions that look at or uphold the law and tackle corruption. He went on to say, whilst a number of countries have managed to bring the levels of corruption to some reasonable stage, most are still stagnating or declining as leaders are failing to act. Now, from just that statement that I've just quoted, you realize that there are a number of issues that needs to be attended to for us to manage to curb this vice. We are talking about guaranteeing the independence of these institutions that uphold law. Madam Speaker, if you look at the ACC Act number 3 of 2012, you realize that it gives these institutions that leverage to curb or investigate and arrest or prosecute whoever is found wanting. So the independence is actually guaranteed. Coupled with, we have heard His Excellency the President from time and again making mention that we want to leave these institutions independent so that we can hold them accountable. Just that will show us that there is no political interference in these institutions that are keeping this. Secondly, Madam Speaker, there's an issue of investing, where the writer emphasized that leaders should invest in investment, Madam Speaker. Very soon on Friday, we will be institutions the budget will be presented. These institutions that are handling these corruption issues are funded. They are funded. Budget allocation is, assigned to them so that they are able to buy the necessary equipment to manage to arrest this cage. Madam Speaker, on the same vein, if you look at the judiciary, judges have been appointed. That takes resources. When you look at the infrastructure, where these judges who have been appointed are supposed to operate from, infrastructure is being conducted, is being done. And as we look at the budget, next week, those are some of the issues that you are going to advance so that that issue is actually...
Order. As the time is 18:55 hours, I interrupt the proceedings and debate stands adjourned. Day for resumption of debate. Debate to resume tomorrow. The House is now adjourned. Order, honorable members.
There we end today's live broadcast. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 14:30 hours for more parliamentary proceedings. Time now to look at what has been considered on the floor of the House, starting at 14:30.
Exactly, indeed. When business commenced at about 14:30 hours, there were some announcements that were made by Madam Speaker. And in the first announcement, Madam Speaker acquainted the House with the presence in the Speaker's gallery of members of Parliament and staff from the Australian Parliament, led by the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, received the distinguished guests and warmly welcomed them to the National Assembly.
In the other announcement, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of visitors from the United Church of Zambia Men's Christian Fellowship in Kabwe. On behalf of the National Assembly, she warmly welcomed the visitors.
And in the other announcement, Madam Speaker reminded the House that debate on the motion of thanks, which commenced on Tuesday, 16th September 2025, will be concluded this week on Thursday, 25th September 2025. In that regard, today, 23rd September 2025, is the last day for honourable members from the back bench to debate the motion, and the front bench will then take the final 2 days, Wednesday 24th and Thursday 25th September 2025, to debate the motion and to respond to issues raised. Madam Speaker encouraged all honourable members from the back bench who have not yet debated to do so today.
Madam Speaker did permit the Minister of Energy, Honourable Makosa Chikolta, to deliver a ministerial statement. He did deliver a ministerial statement on the electricity supply and load shedding management. The Minister did say that given the drought in 2023-2024 rainy season, ZESCO introduced load shedding, a measure meant to avoid damage to generating, transmission and distribution equipment while protecting essential services. And he did give the current state of electricity generation and demand. The Minister did say that despite projections of normal to above normal rainfall in most parts of the country, the 2024-2025 rain season was below expectation to enable a sufficient restoration of high power reservoirs, and this resulted in lower than normal water inflows into the Kariba, Itezi and Kafue Gorge reserves. So the water levels in all the reservoirs were significantly lower than they would be in an ideal situation. And under normal hydrological conditions, reservoir storage levels would be Kariba Reservoir 76.6%, Itezi Reservoir 77.2%, and Kafue Gorge Reservoir 20.6%.
The minister did state that, however, as of 23rd September 2025, reservoir storage levels remained below the optimal levels at all three sites. That's the Kariba at 16%, Iteji at 24.5%, Kafue Gorge at 10.4%. And with these levels stated, he did state that the hydropower generation still remains severely constrained. And he did state that at the onset of the crisis, government announced the following measures. He did state that so far government has commissioned 125 megawatts through the following projects located in Central Province. Chisamba Solar PV Plant, 100 megawatts in Chisamba District.
And he did say that by the end of 2025, government will add the following key projects, among others, Mansa Solar PV plant at 50 megawatts, Kasupe 1 solar PV 7.5 megawatts, green sites projects, ZESCO projects, just to mention but a few. And he did say that that yesterday he actually officiated at the groundbreaking of 100 megawatts Mamba Solar PV in the Sinazonge district. And this project is, well, he did talk about what transpired, yesterday at the launch, and the positives that we hope to see regarding the launch of the groundbreaking of the 100 megawatts Mamba Solar PV in Sinazonge.
Exactly, Claudette. He further stated that government through ZESCO is currently importing power from the Southern Africa Power 2 to support domestic generation over the last 6 months, and Zambia has been importing an average of 238 megawatts. Alongside, the country has clawed back 170 megawatts of exports from 520 megawatts in 2024.
And he did say that discussions are underway with independent power traders to retain some of the transit power without destabilizing existing contracts and agreements with their Democratic Republic of Congo customers, and that government is implementing several transmission line projects that are at various stages, which include, among others, the Kafue West Muzuma 330 kilovolts.
Indeed, he also stated that the Lusaka West Kafkawe step down substation 330 kilovolts, and the Zambia-Tanzania interconnector link line 330 kilovolts linking Zambia to Tanzania.
The minister also spoke to measures being undertaken to improve ZESCO Limited financial stability, to enhance transparency and ensure greater responsiveness to consumer needs. This includes migrating towards cost-reflective tariff structure. He said his ministry is working towards achieving this sooner than later.
Indeed, Claudette, and those are just some of the details that were contained in the ministerial statement. We move forward to the other business that was considered on the floor of the House. The House did consider 3 questions for oral answer under standing order. We had question 19, which came from Mr. Emmanuel Banda, Muchinga Member of Parliament, and his question was directed to the Minister of Youth, Sport and Arts. He wanted to know whether the government has any plans to empower youth in Muchinga Parliamentary Constituency with the following: farming equipment, mining equipment, and motorbikes. And the Minister of Youth, Sports and Arts did respond that indeed government has plans, just like they have plans to do that in all other provinces. If so, when the plans will be implemented, the minister did respond by stating that plans are ongoing and they are implemented in a targeted approach, which is province by province, and this is according to how applications flow in. And if there are no such plans, why this question bit fell off.
Question 17 came from Mr. Banda of Chadiza. He did ask the Minister of Community Development and Social Services how many girls under the Girls Education and Women's Empowerment and Livelihoods project in Chadiza district were admitted back to school from January 2016 to August 2025 year by year. And in response, the Minister did say that the project scaled up in 2019 with 214 girls. In 2020 there were 171, 2021 587 girls, 2022 1,241, 2023 1,141, and 2024 1,077, 2025 525, and that enrollment has since continued. And in the other part of the question, the Chadiza lawmaker wanted to find out how many women were empowered financially under the same project, and the minister did say that 1,579 women were empowered. In the other part of the question, wanted to find out when the government whether the government has any plans to increase the number of beneficiaries under the project. The minister responded in the affirmative, and the Chadiza lawmaker wanted to find out when men will be included on the project, and the minister did say that the program is designed to target women, hence men can benefit indirectly. So those are just some of the questions for answer, understanding order number 80 that were considered today.
Indeed, Claudette, and we resumption of the 16th September 2025, the President's address that the thanks of this Assembly be recorded for the exposition of public policy contained in the President's address, a motion that was moved by Chisamba Member of Parliament, Ms. Chushi Kasanda, and at the time business was interrupted. On the floor debating the motion was Kanyama Member of Parliament, Mr. Monty Chinkuli, and of course earlier on we did see quite a number of members of Parliament debate the motion of thanks.
And that's it. That's all the time that we had for you. Be sure to join us tomorrow at 14:30 for more parliamentary proceedings. From all of us, thank you for your time. To have a lovely evening and to take care.